Mars 1 will establish human settlement on Mars in 2023. In that year, the first group of 4 humans will land on Mars. Every 2 years after that, another group will join the settlement.
This is a story about a dream. It has been my dream for 15 years to create a human mission to Mars. But I could never figure out how to finance such a mission. Until 1.5 years ago, someone gave me the idea. You can fund this mission by creating the biggest media event ever around it. So, for me this was the last piece of the puzzle, and I took the plunge. I sold some of the shares in my previous company, and I founded Mars 1, a commercial company that will put humans on the planet Mars. When our astronauts land in 2023, a habitable outpost will be waiting for them. This settlement will support them for the rest of their lives because they are going to spend the rest of their lives on Mars. They will not be alone. Every 2 years we will send an additional crew to Mars to join them. On Mars, the first crew especially will build. They will find a settlement and they will have to upgrade it to become their new home. We will send them supplies with which they can create additional living space, and they will prepare the settlement for arrival of new astronauts. Our plan is really possible. We've done a technical feasibility study, and we've split our plan up into several major components, like the rocket and the living unit. For each of these components, we have found suppliers, major aerospace companies from around the world. We've received letters of interest from these companies in which they confirm that they can produce the equipment that we need. This is really possible. So, Mars 1 is a commercial company, and our business case is to create a huge media spectacle around the human mission to Mars. It will start with astronaut selection. It will peak when the humans land on Mars, but it will never end. It will be as big as the Olympics, but it will run for 50 years or more. So, let me make one thing clear. It is not my goal to create a media spectacle. It is my dream and my goal to put humans on Mars. But I think that you can only do this if you have a profitable business case. And the media spectacle is the only profitable business case that I can think of that will make this possible. If you are sending humans to Mars, you cannot depend on government funding or on donations from a rich individual. They have to be self-sufficient, and they can do.
We hope that we'll be able to say one way or the other fairly soon whether or not there has been any life in Mars's past. They have measured is the composition of Mars's atmosphere much more accurately than we knew it before. We did have data from the 70s, from the Viking mission, which measured the Martian atmosphere composition, which has been very important because it's enabled us to identify certain meteorites from Mars. These meteorites contain trapped Martian atmosphere. Now, what the rover has measured is the actual atmospheric composition and its isotopic composition. And what it's found is that as we knew, that the atmosphere is carbon dioxide rich, but also that the atmosphere is enriched in the heavy isotopes of oxygen, carbon, and hydrogen.
Ashwin Vasavada tells about Curiosity.
This is a Mars scientist's dream machine. We're so excited to have this rover go into Mars this year. It's going to be the virtual presence for over 200 scientists around the world to explore Mars and Gale Crater that we'll talk about. This rover is not only the most technically capable rover ever sent to another planet, but it's actually the most capable scientific explorer we've ever sent out.
Curiosity is much larger than earlier rovers. It has a plutonium-fueled nuclear reactor that will provide plenty of power for Curiosity's many activities. The vehicle also has 17 cameras and a laser that can examine the chemical makeup of rocks.
What really dominates the design of this rover is the fact that it has this ability to sample rocks and soils on Mars for the first time. And so it has a big 6-foot robotic arm, and the rover is partly that big because it holds 2 very capable scientific laboratories inside the rover.
One instrument measures the minerals in rocks and soil. Another looks for chemicals and any organic material that might be present. The goal of the experiment is to learn if Mars ever had environmental conditions that could have supported microorganisms.
This mission is really about looking for those habitable environments and not detecting life itself.
Visavada says the mountain within Gale Crater will provide plenty of information about the development of Mars. That is because each layer of rock contains new clues.
It has some geologic evidence that water was around. We hope, in fact, to search for organics with this mission. That's another requirement for life as we know it.
The nuclear reactor on Curiosity has enough power to operate on the surface of Mars for about 2 Earth years, which is the same as